Oh, I'm
Okay, go
sorry.
ahead. Keep going.
Sorry. Um, There's my button. Sorry, kiddo's sick, home sick from school today. So, um, yes, the impact makers, you said that they get access to this automation tool that does a lot of this onboarding stuff. And is that, yeah, can you just go through that and explain
Yeah.
sort of the,
So, Trisha, anybody can come into it now. So, when we first launched, it was launched into impact only. So, they have kind of like a impact maker only pricing, and they have different, depending on if you're an impact maker student or you're just a CRM user, we release kind of different templates, right? So, impact makers also get to work with us outside of just the CRM group. But if I did not make that clear, it did go public, I think last month, where now we're sharing it. We're keeping it. Our software guy wants it 100 users or less. I think we're at like 88. So Trisha, you can come into just software, but I'm not going to give you all my onboarding sequences and like all of that if you're not impact. And then we help our CRM users as far as Dominique does a weekly call. But if you're an impact maker and you're struggling with software, of course, I'm helping you at a deeper level. Does that make sense? So we did decide to go public with it in March, and I have a huge vision for that. But when you're creating something new, we're going through some growth phases. Hello. Right. So, what it does is everything I talked about, and the pre builds or the access, depending on, will depend on how much access you have to us.
okay, yes, that definitely answers that question. I just feel so called to be in this course. It's yeah, it's definitely something that I've been praying on and uh going to do my best to make this happen. So um
Yeah.
trying to get out of that scarcity mindset
Yeah.
and into an abundance mindset.
It's a very solid, that is a very, very solid point because dollars are dollars. Like I would never take away the fact that you are going to be spending dollars to come in to class. Um, but I also spend a lot of dollars on a lot of things. I spend $900 a month. You guys will die. No, you won't, because you've all heard my story. On going through drive-throughs and eating convenience food, like $30 a day. But that doesn't sound like that much money. 30 times 30 is the price of impact. I spend on crap food for me and my kids. So yesterday, and I know this is exactly the same mindset. I go to put in my order with my company for all the things I'm out of, because when I'm out of all the things, I go over to Dollar General and I pay 250 for a monster and I go through. It was 400 and something dollars and I was like, and I was like, wait, that's actually less than I'm spending every day, but I'm spending it in such small increments, I don't realize it. So taking an assessment of where's our money going and putting it all in a spreadsheet is terrifying, right? So if you think, okay, $25 a day, because it's 833 a month. So $25 a day, right? And you think, what else am I doing with $25 a day? Could I make $25 a day back with this investment? And not only is it like literal for the next year, but you guys know that where I was positioned from the 6 months I did with Julie has like complete, I talk about her all the time and I haven't worked with her since December 2020. And then why do I keep finding other classes and other mentors? Not because like what I learned from her was so much, but I got to keep learning and I've got to keep staying. And she didn't have a community. I'm like, Julie, what do we do next? She's like, you go fly. And I was like, no, because she only has a 12-week class. She didn't have like a 1 year program. She quit doing the group coaching. And I was like, gosh, I always need this community of people that are growing forward. And now I have it here. But my business is a different business than what we've been doing all together with just network marketing. So I go work with the 7 figure earners because now that's where I'm going. But before, I worked with the 6 figure earners because I couldn't even grasp that at all. There was no way. I'm like, help me make $3,000 consistently in network marketing, which I had done before. But then it's like you walk away and you start all over and you forget that you've ever done it. I'm like, if I could just this, they were talking about this girl making 2 to 4 thousand a month. I was like, oh my gosh, please. How did she do that? I keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, oh, and then employ some things. So um wherever it is that you guys are going, if it doesn't have to be me, your customers tell you this, whether you sell a $50, you know, Fizz energy drink or a $5,000 program. In fact, when we sold 397 Evergreen, I heard the exact same objections that we hear here. Exact. I want to be there. I need to be there. It's out of my budget. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm overpricing it. And then I tried to like drop the price down and make it happen. And then people would get it and I would take away the coaching and only give the course. And then they're like, that thing didn't work. I'm like, dude, you didn't freaking work it. But I couldn't prove it. So I'm like, I'm going to bring them into class and I'm going to say, who's getting results? The ones who show up. I know because I keep seeing them on the screen. And now because of Carla's new position, which we weren't doing it this way before, y'all are independent business owners. But, Scott reached out to me today and he's like, where you been in class? And I'm like, oh, better go do my goal sheet. We started to implement a little bit of that because you guys need that. Like, we missed you. Where you been? You're here for this. What's happening right now? So that is a lot of the advisor role, is to help us keep track of the ones who came in so that it doesn't just become another thing you bought that sat on the shelf, figuratively.
So guilty of that. So guilty of that. Oh, this program sounds great. And then you just, yeah, but there just wasn't, some things are just not the right fit. And sometimes life gets in the way. And yeah, but I just feel like this is different. So
yeah, and I believe that it is. That's why we created it that way, only because I've gone through how many network marketing boxes have I gone through? 2 with people I adore. And I learned a little bit, and then I went through the coaching one that was a year, and I learned a little bit that we could do an impact that the network marketing coaches weren't doing, and that was add on an advisor and add on like the different classes that you can go through, like the specialty extra bonus classes. And that's where we created the Canva and the Instagram. Like, we had live trainers for a while in different specialty areas. And then now we look and we go, what do we need? We need a power hour. We need the mastermind. So we had these little bonuses. But I just looked at, if my perfect prospect is me, which usually she is, she has big dreams, but she also pushes the button late at night, at midnight, like, oh, I will go do that thing, and doesn't go do that thing. What does she need? And I kind of built this around what I need. And then it attracts the people that it's supposed to, and the people who don't, they're just like, some people are like, I don't need community. There is one student that she said that she's like, I know all of that, but I need the people. And then there's the people who are like, I don't need the people, I just need the information. Right. And it's where you at in the journey. And so impact is everything. So some of our students we never see on the screen. They just wanted the information. They move through on their own. Some never move through the information. They just come to class. And then if you do both, you max out. And that's why we built phases. So we'll pick that on Sunday. I'm going to talk to Carla today, but I run points through Saturday at 11, deadline. Then I have all day to go through them. And then sometime on Sunday, I just pop in, unless we decide to make it an official hoo-la-la something, which we'll talk about, because we are talking about doing something else with you guys. All right, who else needs help moving through anything? Have you guys identified, so there's always like that one takeaway, but have you found one like actionable thing that you really want to focus on? This isn't as much of an action oriented powerhouse challenge type thing where it's like, oh, I need to put in my 5, 4, 3, 2, but we did talk about some systems and then GPS and tools and automation, onboarding. Is there, like, if you focus on one key thing that is your project over the next 2 weeks, 2 days, 90 days, what is your one thing that you really need to like get going in your business? Can anybody identify that? For me, it's team onboarding sequences. Y'all got everything established? I know what Amy's is because she messaged me what her project is for this weekend. Amy S. and I are going to chat. Jean, what's your focus?
Well, I wrote top 3, but really they go in order. But my CRM would be the focus. Stories, because I can do these on Zoom and I can do them ahead of time. And a posting schedule, because I feel those are all going to get me going. So because
Schedule?
I am start Pardon me?
Did you say number 3 is schedule?
Schedule posts.
Schedule post. Okay.
Prepare the stories. And it doesn't have to be automated because I don't have that much yet. So I think I've been using it on my mind, and that was an aha for me. Yes, I need automation. Yes, I want it. But what am I waiting for? I
Yeah.
don't have so many. I mean, just my regular customers, our company has given us huge opportunity for discounts. So I think everyone's feeling the difference right now. So they're offering a free sign up for people,
Mm,
for clients, also for people that are just coming to renewal.
Yeah.
So I can do all of that right into the groups. What really got me though was just the way this time was different. It just, maybe they say the teacher will appear when the student is ready.
That's
And
right.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
But I can see myself popping in with the green dot glow and just popping in. And you had told me that about a month ago. You said, just pop in. I think I make things be too much of a big deal.
Yeah.
And I find that holds me back in fear.
Yeah, because Jean, think about it. So if we quit being in our shoes and be in other people's shoes, you're actually trying to attract people to do this business with you, right?
Yes.
And so if you make it look like too complicated or too whatever, it's going to be a turnoff, right? So if you're like, listen, I love lifestyle business because it's easy just to like make content because you're literally living the products, right? And if you think about content that way, like right now, we've done this before. You could take a picture right now, you're learning. There's some content, take a video. But if you are overthinking what's a really good post, I'm like, it's your story that attracts
I
your
know. I did
audience.
that. I did that with a post.
Yeah.
And it's too scripted.
Yeah.
And another thing that I can do, I bought the starter from King Arthur Flour. It just came for sourdough bread. So I'm
Yeah.
rising starter. So that's just sort of something who I am, and then I was with the coach from our BNI thing because we were talking about, she's the VP and I'm the president. We've only got 4 more months of this, which I'm glad about. I love it, but I'll still be a member. But I started saying, oh, remember when I used to dance and I was doing these silly things? Just do that on the screen, Gene. It's real funny,
Yeah.
but I know that I thought that I wanted to go more into the mindfulness part of what I learned and keep learning more. But that's not for me. That is for the people that are already trained, I think, psychologists and all that. I don't want to take someone to that point. But what I want to do is, and I think I told you this, I'm going to go into the group and just lead a small meditation, like we talked about the Be Well one. So yeah, I've got all these ideas. That's why today I stopped and wrote it down, which direction I should go, because I could just go everywhere.
Yeah. And man, a lot of us understand that. And also, so the back end sale for you is network marketing products that also there's a lot of directions you could go with those, right? And so if you're with a company that only has one, two, three, or four products, that helps you narrow in and focus. If you only have one dream or one passion or one thing excites you, that helps you focus. But if you're like, oh, I could do this, and I could rep this, and I've got all the, so how can you unify it all? And maybe you just play and test it because all you're trying to find is like what hooks your audience into you, right? So if it is the humor, if it is the meditation, if they can find that anywhere else, they're going to find that anywhere else. But if Jean can bring a different spin, if this class feels different, even if it looks different on the outside, just in their gut, they're like, this one's different. I can't explain it. This is the green gut glow shot lady I want to be with. So play with it and find out really what your capture is for your people, and then do more of that and make sure it's something true and good for you, and then run with it. And so maybe the meditation will hook, maybe the humor will hook, maybe the sourdough bread cooking will hook. And then your job is on the backside, connect it. So how, if we're talking about sourdough bread, can I be like, so, because sourdough is not gluten-free, right? But it's like better for you.
It is, and that's why I can use it, because I had watched another consultant in another part of the country, I think she's in California, making it once a week, and it was so cool.
Yep.
And it's an old grain, and the starter actually comes from a long, long time ago. It came FedEx, chilled and all that. And so I started the thing and it bubbles up and it's delicious. And I don't know, but it's just something fun to do. Food is very important to me. I actually got into Johnson and Wales. I had planned to go, and then my husband said, "Oh, and then you're going to study the nutrition after too." I said, "Sure." But I got in, and then I realized that's really impractical because Providence is like an hour and a half away from us where they are, and I'd have to go live there. And anyway, it's so, but it's still who I am. And you all have really brought that to so out in me. Like, I don't just have to be a XYZ green gut glow person. I can be I can be who I am.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, it's a really good point because the Green Gut Glow now is your big hook with like all the people are running with that, right? And so it's like,
Mhm.
oh, if they're all running with this, I have to run with that because that's the big hook, but it's not yours and it's not feeling great to keep doing. Find yours. So if the sourdough, it's really fun. Sarah Brown inside of Impact made sourdough on her page, and it was interesting to watch.
Mhm.
It's people like to talk about food, they like to talk about the weather, but if you can get them watching and then you can tie it in and just kind of breadcrumb it throughout, with or pepper it, some people say,
I like the
with your
breadcrumb. That
healthy
works.
living program, or with, one of the reasons I made a change is after learning about this. And if you guys haven't heard of it, this is how I help people, drop me below. All right, let's get back to this. So doing that kind of integration, weaving it in, um, that can pull some new people into like your group or your presentation or whatever. But the capture was something they didn't know they were going to come watch you make sourdough and then be invited to learn more about what else they could cut from their diet, things like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Cool. Carla, is there anything that you want to talk to everybody about?
I had something to add, and I'm speaking for someone else, but it was something that was shared in office hours today. But it came from what you shared yesterday about the goal setting. And so we had a student who is on a mission to grow her team and doing some recruiting, but in that she is also trying to reactivate some of her team. And I say simply because we oftentimes try to overcomplicate things, but by simply having a conversation with her inactive team member and going through the goal setting process, the girl was like, "Oh, I can do that. That's totally doable." And so now she has someone who is going to reactivate. And as a result of that win and building her confidence, she's got another person getting ready to sign. So I really like that goal setting. I was even talking to Jason about it last night. He was like, "Okay, so you have to do this, and that's what this means." But I think it's really important for us to continue to look at that as your goals change, as your vision changes, as your dreams change.
I'll go in just a minute.
But it can be a simple exercise to make things more not only realistic but attainable. And so I wanted to share that. The other thing that came up, and I think this is, I hope will be valuable for everyone, is the idea of cheating on your company by seeking other training, seeking other support, seeking other communities. I think that was really an eye-opening thing. I had never looked at it that way. If my upline, my sideline, my company was doing something different, and as long as I wasn't going, I think Cathy, you talked about, as long as you're not doing anything illegal, try it, track it. I didn't see it that way, but I think a lot of people do see if they step out of their company, um, then they're doing something wrong. They are cheating on their upline because they're seeking support elsewhere. I'm definitely a firm believer in plug into your organization, plug into what is offered to you inside of your company, because there's a lot of value in there. But there's also so much value in stepping outside of that, because you have someone who has gone before you, is going to share their experience, is going to share their results, but the community is incredible. I hope to share, gonna get permission to share some stories tomorrow that I think will be super valuable. One specifically about how community has helped someone reach a pretty significant milestone. So I hope that you're all back here with me tomorrow. But I just wanted to share that thought process that you're not doing anything wrong if whether it's here with Cathy or it's in a different space. you're positioning yourself for growth by looking elsewhere for support. So I wanted to throw that out there.
I like that because you know what? Funny is when we were doing virtual parties long time ago, when it was just virtual party challenge to evergreen, like 2020, and Leila and Heidi came in first to the class, and they were reps with a company I used to be with, but not connected to me at all. Coincidence. And she said, "Can we bring our team into the next one?" And I said, "Yeah." She brought 23 team members in, and the two leaders signed up for our program. And she said, "Here's the thing. This was true." She goes, "I'm not telling my MVP what we're doing." She's like, "Because then she's going to want me to teach all of them what we're doing. And I'm not paid to teach that. I don't have time to do that." And she said, "The reason I need to bring my team to you is I'm not a paid coach. I'm their upline." She's like, "I can't do this for each of them, but if they can all come in and learn what we've learned, then we can all move forward together." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so smart. Let me train your team if you believe in the system." So she brought her whole team into the virtual party system to go through the 5-day training so that as her and Heidi were implementing Evergreen, they understood the concept of what was happening, understood how it could benefit them. And I was like, wow, makes a lot of sense. And whenever one of the other girls was really upset with me about her team coming into my class, a different team, and I was like, "I don't understand the conflict. We're all with the same company. She wants to do it different." And she mentioned one of my team members. "How would you feel if one of your team members came to me getting this?" I'm like, "I would feel really great." I was like, because she's gonna grow no matter who helps her grow. And if she goes and reads somebody else's book or goes to someone else's conference, but I do want her plugging in to what we're providing. I don't want her, but there's only so much growth that some organizations take you to. And my own personal upline said, "I'm doing something different because it's the same talk every week," which is great when you're new. And it's not that you can't bring value and you should show up for your team, but she's like, "I'm not growing." Right. So I need to step a little bit. So I told her what had happened. And she's like, "Cathy, it's all ego. It's all ego when people are like, I have to be the one that brought my team to whatever." I'm like, I would love to turn around and be like, "Paula, how'd you figure that out?" And she's like, "Oh, I went to so and so's class." And I'm like, "Oh, great. Will you come tell us what you learned?" So it's just like if we're all in it for a shared vision and mission, but we understand we're all different people in different growth processes. If you love your downline and see them doing something that isn't from your experience or your wisdom, which is knowledge and experience combined, a smart move because you know them, you know what they want. Of course, I want Kim to come to me and say, "I know you in and out. I know this. I don't think this is the right direction for you." She's only done that with people I date. But in business, she's like, "I don't like that you're moving away from me, but I know that's the right direction for you." You know what I'm saying? And not many people have that upline.
Yeah.
She's a
That
very
was
unique
also
person.
something that we touched upon specific to upline today, that you have almost a sense of obligation or a sense of guilt if you're not getting the guidance from your upline. Like the conversation was specifically, my upline is fantastic. Somebody was in a conversation with someone and they were saying my upline is fantastic. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm like, let's just call it what it is. So I said, I probably would have responded with, "How's that working for you? Like, what the level of support that you're receiving, is that moving?" We're ultimately responsible for moving ourselves forward. There's no question. But if we're staying in the space that we're in because we love our upline, I love my upline. My upline is fantastic. She's a beautiful person. And I think a lot of great things about her. We don't operate business the same way, and that's okay. So I just found it interesting that a couple of those things were coming up, and I wanted to mention it because I feel like maybe there are some folks that are a little bit hesitant in moving to any type of program with Cathy, because what will they say? Whether it's upline, anybody on your team outside of it. So bear
I hope network
and
marketers would be over that because we have to face that just by being in this industry. But also, what they'll do is now, if your upline knows that you have a big income goal or whatever, and you keep wasting time planting flowers and they are dying, and she's like, "Couldn't we spend an hour doing your business over here?" Like, if it's kind of that direction, like, "I see you getting distracted in these things, you claim you want this, but you're not actually doing activity," that's different. But if they're like, I noticed that you're spending, like, one of the uplines, she, if I'm supposed to do this, I don't do this. I'm sorry. She check marks all the people that come to the calls. And she's like, she hasn't been on my Wednesday night call in 3 weeks. I'm like, how do you know? I'm like, do you take attendance? She's like, yeah. I'm like, am I supposed to take attendance? She's like, but she's going to your class every week. And I'm like, and she's growing. Who cares? I don't get it. Like, and I said, is she doing something bad? Aren't we in alignment? Now that girl and I actually have talked after pandemic, she kind of came around to some different, thought processes. But when people feel like, oh, they should be on my call, they should be learning from me because I signed them up, right? I'm the mom. You should be learning from me. If Evan can learn it from anybody, praise the Lord. I do not need to be
Right?
the one that taught him to it. And in fact, don't you get, I actually really like friendships with my downline. I don't want a management role. And I kind of like when they have a coach that like gets to set them straight and I just get to collaborate with them. Even though I'm their upline, we get to do it all together and I can encourage them and I can remind them how close they are, but they're pushing themselves in business either on their own or because they subscribe to a coach or a class or something, not because I'm like, hey, Cathy, come on, let's go. Come on, bring you on the call. I'm like, I can't keep doing that. And I don't need the ownership for your success. And I certainly don't need the ownership of your failure. So I'm just going to be here. And if you want to come plug into me, this is my role. But some people, and if it makes a great upline, that's awesome. But some people are really coaching their downline in a way that is not sustainable. And then they try to pull back and their downline's like, well, you used to get on the call with me whenever I wanted. You used to do all these parties with me. You used to, and then the smart business owner was like, I'm actually supposed to lead, not manage. I'm really sorry. This is what I did for my first team. I enabled all of you, and now you're all mad at me because I did the wrong thing. I will take responsibility. And so it is an interesting thought. And it's also an interesting, like literally, we just need to take, you shared a business with somebody. You saw something in them they didn't see in themselves. You're not responsible to help them succeed. You're not responsible if they fail, but you are responsible to encourage them, right? To create clarity for them, to what I think is build a community around them, to show them something different than they can see anywhere else. And berating them or, feeling threatened. Here's the cool thing, I'll quit talking. In the jewelry company, you know what they ended up doing, which surprised me, and in this company I'm with now, they brought in these programs, these people that have big programs and encouraged us to go there. They brought in Eric Worre and had him do a talk and he opened his program and the top leader is like, I'm doing it. I think you guys should too. And they have she's an incredible leader and she is consistent and there's everything done for you. And she saw she needed more and she wanted us to go do more. And then when I learned about his program, I'm like, oh, we should do a 90-day run. That's actually where I learned about that. Like, that's a great idea. Let's add that on. So Carla will open up tomorrow. Carla, I don't know if you want to lead with questions, lead with stories. You take over however. I'll listen in from the car and hope that everything just goes really smoothly and I get to hear most of it. So thank you guys for being here. Carla and I are going to chat now. She'll inform you exactly tomorrow how we're going to wrap things out. Please don't miss out on Fast Action Taker. Reach out to her if you need to. By the way, something that I failed to say, and Carla, you have to help me remember this. We have not sold Impact this year. Impact is approved for third-party funding, which I didn't even think to talk about. We have a third-party funding source that will only approve proven programs, and they have to be 5,000 or more programs that are proven. So we can't use it for any of our other programs. So if you are at a financial, I can't pull the monthly, they don't take money off, they spread it. Like they can spread it to 2 to 3 years, even though I can't. You can ask Carla for that. It's literally just a little application and they'll tell you if they can approve you. They pay us, you pay them. It's pretty easy. I didn't even think about that because we have not sold Impact all year. And so some people have been able to qualify for that. And if they want to pay it off early, they just pay it off early. But if it gets you in the door faster, it's an option. Any last thoughts?
I just want to say thank you so much for this week, Cathy. Like it, I kind of signed up for this on a whim and I didn't even sign up VIP until after the first day because I was just like, oh, I did your 5-day party trainings back in 2020. I just learned to kick butt with your parties, and hadn't really done anything with you for a couple of years, switched companies. And I just saw your email pop through, and I was like, oh, I could use me some Cathy Callahan this week. And I'm actually in another program right now. Bob Heilig's doing one right now, but I didn't go to his coaching call yesterday because it was at the same time as your call today. And I was like, nope, I'm not missing Cathy, because you just really you've really changed me this week, and you've really opened up some things that I've had totally buried deep down about goals and dreams that I've had for myself. Since I was a kid, writing a book. I wanted to be a writer when I was a kid, and I dreamt about that last night. I had totally forgot that I had had a short story published in grade 7, and I was like, in our school, your short story has been accepted into our little book, and I totally forgot about that dream that I had at 12 years old. And it's just wanted to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
You are so welcome. And thank you for plugging in. I mean, we all do it. We sign up for these things and don't plug in, and they're, you don't get the experience Trisha's having, or like Jean said, you just it may be similar content, not the right timing. And then here you are, it just impacts you differently. So we'll keep doing what we do, which is keep showing up, and you guys keep doing what you do. And Trisha's a testimony. I mean, apparently she's been on our email list for a couple of years, and look, that was the one that hit, so that is also part of why automation matters. I mean, there's 8,000 people on that email list now. If I would have thought I had to keep up individually and be like, Trisha, where you been? We lose out on that. And I know exactly who she is. I told Carlos, I'm like, I remember this girl's story. I know all of it, but that will help you stay connected, because you don't know when your downline's ready to come in to your team. You don't know when a student is ready to come into your program. So you have to keep showing up, and you have to stay connected with them. So thank you for letting us connect with you. I will see you guys ish tomorrow. I'll be super casual in a car, and then I'll see you this weekend. So thank you, Carla, for doing that tomorrow, and I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.
Bye. Thanks.